Welcome to my second Audiosurf tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you some techniques for faster songs. You may want to start off by looking for the two most frequent colors in this section. In that case that is blue and green, and try to make large matches with those two colors. It's usually not possible to collect all blocks of both colors, so you have to focus on collecting all blocks of the more valuable color, in this case green, and collect as much as possible of the blue color. If there are any reds in between, just collect those, they will improve your overall score, even if there are just a few of them. As the song goes on, you have to constantly recheck the colors of the blocks you're focusing on. In this case I changed to green and yellow, because yellow blocks have suddenly become relatively frequent. Well, now we've reached the slow part of the song, and so the techniques of my last tutorial become important, as in you have to collect as many blocks as possible which somehow make up clear matches. So don't focus on any particular color, just collect as much as possible. And here the song once again speeds up, so I once again focus on collecting only two colors, green and blue in this case. Although here I changed to green and yellow, because it turns out that yellow is very frequent in this section. So I've once again reached a slow part, so here it again makes more sense to collect any colors which match. It may not always be entirely obvious which colors to collect. This is generally a matter of experience and intuition. Can't really give you a general rule here. For example, in this section there are a few red blocks spread out over a relatively large area, so there are fewer reds than there are blues or purple. But since red blocks are so much more valuable, it may make sense to keep one match alive for a long time and collect all those reds in one large match while ignoring almost all other blocks. But this is a relatively difficult technique, so I may get into more detail about this in another tutorial. Okay, and now we have reached a very slow part of the song. Now it's not really possible to make large matches anymore. Still, you shouldn't switch off your mind completely, because sometimes there are quite a few reds in those slow part, and sometimes you can make relatively large matches out of them. And here once again the song speeds up, so once again it makes sense to focus on only two colors. In this case, green and yellow. This is another example of a failed force clear. As you can see, I wanted to match up those three greens by pushing them on the right lane, but there were only two slots left, so they didn't fit in anymore. And here I make a small mistake by accidentally collecting this one blue block. but it is easily corrected by collecting 2 more blue blocks. And this is also one example where it's important to be able to push blocks to the center, because then such mistakes are relatively easy to correct without losing the 100% bonus. As you can see, there's still this one yellow block left in the left lane, but there aren't any yellow blocks in this section, so it just has to stay there. And the best in such a situation is to simply carry on and try to make large matches out of any other blocks which are left there, and hope that you will soon encounter the necessary blocks to correct this type of mistake. Since you won't get the 100% clear bonus anyway, it makes sense to collect any whites that you encounter. That way you will at least slightly decrease the amount of points you lose by not having the 100% clear bonus. And here finally there's an example of a proper post clear. As you can see, the right lane is full, and then I'm collecting a red block which clears that lane, so I get the 100% clear bonus, and I'm also able to get those few extra points from collecting those few red blocks, which I otherwise wouldn't get if I would just wait for the match to clear itself. Here you can see another mistake which occasionally happens when not paying attention. As you see, I have collected a lot of violet blocks, even though there are many more valuable blocks available, so I'm losing a few points by collecting all those violet blocks. And here's another small mistake that I made. As you can see, there are several red blocks, but I didn't collect them. Since red blocks are so valuable, even just those 6 or 7 blocks here would easily give me another 10,000 points. So, to sum it up again, as the song starts, look for the 2 most frequent block colors in the song and try to make large matches with those colors. Occasionally you may need to change those 2 colors, but in principle it makes sense to only collect 2 colors and not more, and also not less than that. During slower parts it makes sense to use whatever techniques I showed you in the first tutorial. Which colors you collect is generally a matter of intuition, but usually you should focus on the 2 most valuable colors which are still frequent enough to make large matches with them. During very slow parts it makes sense to save reds and to make large matches with any reds which are available. And when you make a larger mistake, which prevents you from getting the 100% clear bonus for some time, simply collect any white blocks, and this will somewhat reduce the amount of lost points. And since reds are so valuable, it makes sense to collect those as a 3rd color whenever you encounter at least 4 or 5 of them. So, and this concludes my second Audiosurf tutorial. I hope it helped you a bit, and once again, have some more fun playing Audiosurf.